Hey everybody, it's Blue Ducky, and in this video I'm going to be doing another custom Zelf, and you can see by the picture right here that I'm going to be customizing this Design Yourself Zelf into a rainbow powered Rainbow Dash Zelf. Now for this particular Zelf custom, I know the hair is not exactly the right colors, but since Zelf hair is really kind of difficult to change out, and since this Design Yourself kind of already has rainbow hair, I'm going to leave the hair this color and just mainly focus on painting the body and doing the markings right. And I can't change the eyes. Well, I don't know how to change Zelf eyes out, so the eyes won't be the right color, but the body will be Rainbow Dash colored, and her markings and everything like that. So it'll be kind of like, it'll be Rainbow Dash, like Zelf combined. So there'll be some Zelf features, and then the body will be Rainbow Dash. So hopefully it turns out looking cool, and I'll show you all the steps that I do. First I'll go over the materials I'm going to use. I have an array of all sorts of different brushes, and then I really like these pens, these paint pens for the detail markings. And then I have this blue for her body. And then I have this palette, which will mainly just have blue because the rest is going to be done with pens. And I put newspaper down. And then I have my reference photo on my Kindle here, as you can see. And I was going to do regular Rainbow Dash, but I didn't think that would have a lot of markings. Just her cutie marks. So I want to do the Rainbow Power Rainbow Dash to make it a little more interesting. And of course, the Design Yourself Zelf. And a glass of water for washing out my brushes. And then for her wings, I'm going to use this foam right here and cut out the design for the wings. And I know it's green, but I'm going to be painting it to look like the rainbow powered wings. So it will not be green when I'm done with it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with painting the body, and I got the blue. And I'm going to be painting the body of it first. And that is pretty easy. You can use a pretty big brush. The only areas you really have to be careful with are on the head, so you don't get paint on the eyes. So I'm painting it blue, and it'll probably take about 2 or 3 coats, so she's all blue, because you can kind of still see through it right now. But when you're painting the body, you kind of want to paint around the legs and move the legs so you get all the way around. So yeah, that's the first step, is just painting the body. Okay, so here's the Zelf after the first coat of paint on the body. You can see the Z mark through. And after a couple coats of paint, you might still be able to see the Z mark. But what I did with my Clover custom is that I just used a green pen and went over the Z mark, so it still had it, but in a color appropriate for that Zelf. And another thing you might want to do before you start painting the head is wrap the hair up with plastic so no paint gets on the hair. And if you want to do this custom, you can also paint the hair Rainbow Dash's, closer to Rainbow Dash's hair. But when you paint Zelf hair, it gets really stiff, and it's not soft and fluffy. It's kind of spiky and hard. So that's completely up to you. But yeah, so we're going to let it dry and then start on the second coat. So while the paint is drying, I'm going to try and make the wings. And here's a picture that shows the shape of her wings pretty good. And then you can see the back side also looks like this. So yeah, I'm going to get the foam and try to make the wings. So what I'm going to do is sketch out a pair of wings and make sure they're like an accurate size to go with the Zelf. So I'm going to sketch out the pair of wings and then cut out the pair of wings, and that will be the pattern that I can use to cut out the wings in the foam. And it's good to use a paper, that way you can erase and it won't mark up the foam too much, and you can get them just right. Or I'm sure there are patterns for Rainbow Dash wings online that you could print out and cut out, and then cut out of the foam if you wanted to. But this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so here is the wing I drew, and I'm going to cut it out now. Okay, so now I'm going to trace the outside of the wing onto the foam, and I'll need 2 pairs of these, one for this side and then one for the other side. Okay, so once you've cut out 2 pairs of the wings, they should be pretty close to symmetrical. But as you can see, I have this part right here, these 3 feather wings. And I'm going to cut off the extra part, the big feather, long feathers. So I have just this inside part, and then I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of foam in the smaller shape. Okay, so now I have the 2 large wings here, and then the 4 smaller wings. And what I am going to do is I am going to glue the smaller wing to the bigger wing like that, so it's more of a 3D effect on the inside, and then also on the other side. So when it's finished, it'll be like that on both sides, and it'll give it a little bit more of a 3D effect, because Rainbow Dash doesn't just have flat wings, she has more feathers right here. So it'll be a little nicer effect, and I'm going to use Elmer's Craft Bond all-purpose glue, and it dries clear. So this is just the glue I'm using. You could use a hot glue gun or any kind of glue. I would get a glue that dries clear just in case it leaks out the edges at all for any reason. You wouldn't want to have like a white glob there. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Like you can see, like I said, I have a little coming out, but that'll dry clear. And you can also use your paper towel and try to, I'm gonna just wipe it off a little bit so there's not a blob there, like that. And I'll also be painting this over, so that's how it's gonna look on each side. And this is just me doing it freehand. Like I said, I have seen patterns for Rainbow Dash wings on Google. All you have to do is type in Rainbow Dash wings, and there's patterns for it, so you can always print out a pattern and do the same thing just like this. Okay, so I got each side done, and they're glued. I'm just going to wait for the glue to dry and then paint them up. So I'll go and start on the second coat on the Zelf. Okay, so I'm going to start on painting my second coat on the body. I'm holding a plastic bag over the hair, just so don't accidentally get paint on it. Another thing to tip when you're painting your Zelf, to make it look a little nicer, you want to try to get nice even strokes. Do it as smoothly as possible. And if any hairs fall off your brush, like I have a problem with, it's good to get them off. And then you can brush over the area with the hair to smooth it out again after you get it off. Okay, here's after coat 2. It's looking pretty good. You can still see the Z. I'm probably going to do one more coat on the body and then start working on the head. But for now, I'm going to let it dry. Okay, time to paint coat number 3 for the body. I did some more protecting of the head and eyes. So while the third coat on the Zelf body is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start painting the wings with this blue that matches the body. So this is just one coat, and as you can see, it's going to take a couple coats to get the blue color that I want because the green is showing through. I haven't done that side, but it's important to get the edges as well. So yeah, I'll keep on painting these. We have a ferret time break. Okay, so now I'm going to start painting the head, and for most of it you can use a pretty big brush to do the large areas, but for areas around the eyes and the hairline, I would try to use a smaller brush just so you don't get paint on the hair or the eyes. I did put tape on the eyes to see if that'll help protect it a little more, and plastic on the hair, but as you can see, some of it's coming off because of the cone shape of the head. It kind of likes to slip off, so just be very careful when you're doing this so you don't ruin your Zelf. But if you do get paint on the eyes, I wouldn't recommend using like paint remover or nail polish remover, because there is like a shiny finish on the eyes and it may make it dull. But a paper towel and some water, probably get it off the eyes if you get any paint on it, and probably the hair as well. And here's the head after the first coat. And here she is after head coat number 2.